This is another boxer video from InYourSink.com. Today we're discussing the Whirlpool Duet, and the problem that we were having today was it was giving us an F21 code or an F20 code, and it can also give you an F27 code. So I'm going to give you a couple ways to solve this problem. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up your drum of your washer, and inside of it, look underneath this rubber gasket here, you'll see a little gully, and in there sometimes you'll find socks that go down in here and get stuck, and a lot of times that prevents the water from flowing properly, which can give you those error code messages. The second place is, and this has actually happened, where this sock actually got pulled down all the way down to the bottom. Now I've already taken off the cover to this Whirlpool, but you'll see a little tiny pump filter pocket. Well, if you unscrew this counterclockwise, water will come out. So before you do this, either have a wet dry vac handy and be prepared to at least vacuum up at least 1 liter of water. But once you remove this, you might even find that the sock traveled down in here. Before you put this cover back on, and you've eliminated this from your process, put your finger this way into the pump, where the pump is. Sometimes the sock got actually pulled inside the pump itself. I'm not going to take this lid off because it does have some water in it, and I don't want to run a wet dry vac during this video. But again, first let's digress. We're going to go from here, make sure that nothing's stopping up the drainage, and then after you go from there, take off the front panel of your Whirlpool and go to your filter discharge area here, and then check the pump to make sure it's freed up. Also, there's a hose here that goes all the way to your drain line, and what you can do is hook up your wet dry vac to the other end of this drain line and suck anything that might be in that as well, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. As you can see, I've sat my Whirlpool on a board here to keep it up. And the reason is because since these Whirlpools are very sensitive and are prone to fail more than 2 or 3 times a year because they have a pretty bad reputation, I've actually taken my lid off so many times, and since I have it on a stack, I've put a board under it so I can access the screws without having to take the dryer off the top of it if this is my only problem. But today, as you can see up here, I've actually had to remove the top panel and also the back panel to the Whirlpool because I had to access the pressure switch, which is right here. And you'll see here at the pressure switch, this little black thing here. And what happened was the black hose that came with it was rubbing. Let me put it in here as it originally was. It was rubbing up against the drum. So as the drum moved back and forth like this, you can see some black right here, some black remnants of that hose. So what happened was, as we get close up here on this hose, the drum actually rubbed right through the hose right there. Okay? Now, what I've done is I just got some tubing from the hardware store, and this is 1/4 inch tubing. I heated up the end so it's more pliable, and what I did was I stuck it right on where the black rubber hose was. Okay, right here. See that? So it comes down here, and I zip tied it, not hard, but just to where it's secured to this back drain hose, so that way that this hose does not touch the drum, as you can see. All right? Now, also, while you have this front or this top lid open, you'll also want to check the position of your flow meter. What this does is it meters how much water is actually going into your washing machine, and it counts, so it knows when to turn the water off. And if this is in a position like this, or in any awkward position other than what you see here, then you need to adjust it. And that's easily done by taking this clip, loosening it, and just basically pushing it into a position where it's like this. So basically you need it laying down like this, otherwise it will count incorrectly. All right. Now back here is your drain hose. Now even though that you may remove a sock or something from the pump, on the other end of this drain hose you might want to put a wet dry vac and just suck from the drain hose, because there might be some particles or crap in there that needs to be taken care of. All right. Now down here I also zip tied the clear tubing, and as you can see, the tubing comes all the way down here and connects down here to this little orifice here. Okay, and that's hard to find without taking the back panel off. So you're going to need to take the back panel off. Just remember, I've got this one plugged in right now, but before you start any of these repairs, make sure that you turn off the washer before you do any of this. So in digress, let's look at, make sure that your flow meter is in the correct position. Make sure that your pressure switch, that the hose is not rubbing up against the drum, and you might want to change that as well. Make sure that your drain is draining properly and that there's no blockages from the drum to where it goes out. And then after that, you should be able to turn it back on, and you will not get your F20 reading. You should be able to go ahead and hit start, and it will run it through its cycles, and it will actually go all the way down to the end this time without giving you any other error messages. So anyhow, we've knocked another one out from Boxer Videos. Have a nice day. That's going to suck.